Hello and welcome back to the Liverpool Groove. Today I'm happy to say that we're joined by Jamie Webster.
What's happening, everyone? You all right?
How are we?
Yeah, all good. All good after that yesterday. Sun's been out and we beat Arsenal 3-0 away, you know what I mean? You can't ask for much more, can you, over Easter weekend? Well, maybe to be down there and in the ground, but other than that, you know what I mean? In current circumstances, I think everyone was made up yesterday and spent the days in the sun, and then if they were lucky enough to, and then put the match on last night and seen that performance was great, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was sound. Nice to see a performance like that after the fucking Chelsea game as well. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, going down to 10 men. I was actually on the golf course yesterday. I had a game on Bootle Golf Course yesterday. So my mates sort of had the updates coming through and they went 1-up, didn't they? I was like, they sort of walking away with it. And then that Silva got sent off, and thought it's typical Liverpool of this season to not capitalise on that result, you know what I mean? But seems like we have turned a bit of a corner, especially with Fabinho in midfield and stuff like that. It's we look like a different team than we did. We look like the team that started the season again. Do you know what I mean? It's
yeah.
I don't think people realise how different the midfield makes. You know what I mean? No one mentions it. Like going on about Man United and Man City and that on Sky Sports, they don't mention Fabinho and Thiago playing together and how much of a difference that makes. It's mad. It burns my head out.
Yeah, that's just standard. While we're not in the limelight, unfortunately, they're not gonna give us anything, can they? We know where we stand with the media and the press. Do you know what I mean? When we're at the top, they've got no option but to support us. But the minute you fall off the peg, they're right there. Do you know what I mean? Pushing you down. Yeah, making sure you don't get back up. But no, I think that the difference is, like, obviously Fabinho was unbelievable at centre half when he played there, but in midfield we were getting overrun. Henderson was also playing centre half for a long period of time. It's like you can't do what we do without those two players in the midfield allowing everyone to do their job so freely. You know what I mean? It's like you've seen it. Look, Trent. Do you know what I mean? Like, get
different player, weren't he?
Yeah, different player, because Fabinho allows him to do his job. Do you know what I mean? Because he sits in front of that back four and protects it. And, like Thiago and Milner, who I thought was outstanding yesterday as well. Well, these are players, because Fabinho's behind them, these players they know the limits. They can cover for the left back. They can cover for the right back. They can, you know what I mean? They can drop in as and when they need to, because they know that if they come short either way, Fabinho's behind them. But whereas, I don't know, that means our back line can play a lot higher. It means the full backs therefore a lot higher. It means that Salah and Mane and out on the byline so often the more in the box closer to Firmino. You know what I mean? It allows us. Yeah,
it's a massive, like, it's like playing with your mates. Once you've played for so long with someone, they're going to be there no matter what happens, and that's what Fabinho offers. We've discussed it so many times on this, saying, like, without him there, the difference is major. You can't tell it. And
you look at the clean sheets. Kabak and Philip have racked up now. It's 4 or 5 that they've knocked up now.
Yeah.
Where they've had a sustained partnership for a few games. You know what I mean? I don't think either of them's Franz Beckenbauer. You know what I mean? But the good young players. Do you know what I mean? And all you need is that little bit of reassurance and that little bit of understanding, do you know what I mean, of each other and of the players around them for a few weeks, and they'll settle inside it, because you've got an unbelievable manager, unbelievable coaching staff, unbelievable players, albeit on the sideline, like Van Dijk, like, do you know what I mean, who can give them little words of wisdom here and there. You know what I mean? They are learning from the, besides in being injured, they were learning from the likes of Van Dijk, who is the best in the world. Do you know what I mean? These lads they're not at Liverpool Football Club because they're bad footballers, do you know what I mean? Or because Liverpool feel sorry for them and want to just give them a chance of just earning a living. No, that's not how things work. They're at Liverpool Football Club because people at the club have seen that they've got something that's better than the players that aren't at Liverpool Football Club at that age. And it's like it goes to show. I think Nat Phillips has just been unbelievable. I think, like, he's been thrown into these. at the deep end early on, he's been thrown in. Don't get me wrong, he's not a great footballer on the ball. Do you know what I mean? He's not someone who's going to zing an 80-yard pass into someone's feet. He's not someone who's going to, miss out a couple of plays and ping one right through the middle into Firmino's feet. We can forget about that. He's going to give it 5-yard, 10-yard balls, simple. And if he's put under pressure, he's going to knock it into the stands. And that's what you want from a centre-half when you're not in a good vein of form. You know what I mean? When your back's up against it like we were for so long, I think he was the perfect player to have been in there, to just get his head on things, get rid, you know what I mean? He's been great. And now that he's got, like you say, Fabinho in front of him, Thiago playing a little bit more comfortably now, do you know what I mean? He's not having to worry so much. He's just having to do his own job. And it's great to see. It's great to see that we may have turned the corner, because for a long time it was looking like, I don't know where the win's going to come from. I don't know where the goal's going to come from. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And
it's nice to see that we're now creating chances like a lot more, 3 goals away from home. Do you know what I mean? You couldn't have, someone would have said that to you, you know what I mean, 4 weeks ago. You wouldn't have only bit their hand off, do you know what I mean? You'd have probably told them to go to the doctors and get their head checked out, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's good to see. It's nice that we, I can see us finishing the season strongly in the league now. I think we've only really got Man United to play out of the big boys, or the so-called big boys. Do you know
That's what scares me. Now, when I looked at the fixtures yesterday, it was like Burnley and all that on there, and it was like, they're the ones who don't want to play, because they just act, don't they? But I think now the likes of Jota and that in the same player will get in behind. I think we just tear them apart. We've got to.
That's not. I don't think that's a worry now. I think now that we've got Fabinho in midfield, look, I'd say Burnley lobbing long balls at Nat Phillips and Kabak. That's what they're good at. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Burnley. If we were playing City in the next couple of weeks, I'd worry, because they're playing great football at the minute, and like I genuinely, as it showed at Anfield, our centre-halves at the minute, we can't cope with their quality. No, Van Dijk's in the team. It's a different story completely, 100%. But I think if you were playing the likes of City, or before yesterday, even at Chelsea in a good form, we were going to come stuck. Do you know what I mean? Because they've got massive quality at the top end of the pitch. Not saying Arsenal don't, but not to their, they've got superstars all over the pitch, haven't they? Do you know what I mean? It's hard for those young lads to deal with that, having not dealt with it before. But these teams that we're playing against now, I wouldn't necessarily say anything great. Besides Man United, who've got high real quality further up the pitch and match winners, like I can't see anyone that's going to playing like we have done in the past couple of games. I can't see what's going to trouble us. I think you can see the smiles are back on the lads' faces now. Do you know what I mean? You can see the difference, and that's a massive thing. Do you know what I mean? You can see Klopp smiling again. It looks like, you know what I mean, there's been a little, do you know what I mean? I think Europe, I think there's been there's a load being dropped there, having a good couple of games. And, the Champions League, I think we're really going to push for that. I think that's where the focus is now. I think if we can get to 4th, it'd be a nice little ending to a tough season. Do you know what I mean? But I think all our eggs are going to be in the Champions League basket, to be honest with you, because I think still over 2 legs. Do you know what I mean? We're good enough to beat anyone in it. We can avoid an English team for as long as possible, as always. The Champions League people might read this and say, you're going a bit far there, but I genuinely couldn't not see us winning the Champions League, put it that way. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say we are definitely going to win it, but it's Liverpool, isn't it? You know what I mean? There's a good chance that we'll.
We do t-shirts, Jamie, and I've got an Istanbul t-shirt ready. That's where I'm at. I'm confident that we're going to get there.
Yeah, that's it. You've got to be now, moving into like the quarters and that. Like, if all being like normally in a normal season, we'd have the final book by now. Do you know what I mean? Like 100%. Me and the lads, we'd have had it booked. Yeah, loads of it.
We can't even go, and lads have got it booked just in case these let us.
Yeah. That's the mentality, innit? You know what I mean? But no, I think it's going to be a good end to the season, exciting end to the season. Whatever happens, do you know what I mean? And it'll be just nice to see who's competing again. You know what I mean? Week in, week out, putting pressure on teams. Forget how many games is there left in the season now.
I think there's about eight in the league, and then obviously however far.
Yeah, so 8 games in the league. Like, you don't know what's going to happen, do you? Let's have it right. No one knows. Like,
before yesterday, you sort of like top 4's over, and then Chelsea lose, and then yesterday becomes a massive game again, doesn't it? And we were in party mode in ours. Like, I had my dad on for the first time in months, and my dad, bring a crate, we'll have a bevy, and we were up for it. And we're like, we win this, we're pretty much, they've only got to lose one more game and they're going to. So, got to do well. So, I think, as I say before, I think top 4's a goal, but put your eggs in the Champions League basket.
Yeah, that's it. No, you want to win every game you play, don't you? And I'm not saying like that we're going to forfeit any games in the league. You know what I mean? I think from now to the end of the season, like, you know, I think they've had a bit of a rest. Some of them have had international duty, whatever. Do you know what I mean? But I think for the foreseeable now, it's just us, isn't it? You know what I mean? You don't have to give it hell for leather. Do you know what I mean? Simple as give it everything we've got. And not that they don't. Do you know what I mean? The effort's never been questioned ever. Do you know what I mean? The effort's on the pitch. I don't think. You know what I mean? I don't think it's ever been that like we haven't worked hard enough or whatever. It's just the quality hasn't been there. We haven't created, you know, that creative spark, and we've just been halted at doing what we're doing. We've been frustrated time after time after time. Some bad decisions, some big chances missed. Do you know what I mean? It's not down to like the players have give up. Do you know what I mean? They've had a falling out with Klopp, this all that bollocks. It's not none of that bollocks. It's just sometimes you go through these patches. Do you know what I mean? And I think, all right, it's easier to say now because we've got a lot of injuries back. It's the main ones are the 3 centre halves. Do you know what I mean? Who were injured, and your captain as well. So I say we've got a lot of them back. Still our 3 main centre halves and our captain are injured still. Do you know what I mean? Let's not forget that. But prior to that, we've had Jota, who was banging goals in left, right, and centre before he got injured. He's come back from his injury and now he's banging them in left, right, and centre again. Do you know what I mean? For club and country, it's you know, Fabinho's back in midfield, you know, after a long injury and playing a centre half, whatever. It's no coincidence that we're winning games more comfortably now that these players are back. That's what we have been saying all season. We've had terrible injuries. We haven't had the luxury of any of these players. We haven't had the luxury of anyone to come off the bench and go, whatever, do you know what I mean? But now we've got a squad back. The players that didn't get on the pitch yesterday, you know, you've got Oxlade-Chamberlain sat there. Did Keita come on the pitch yesterday?
No,
I can't remember Keita coming on myself. Do you know what I mean? Did Curtis Jones come on?
No.
No. See, these are all players who've like. But Curtis Jones had been one of the better players in that poor rut of form. I thought, you know what I mean?
Brilliant.
Personally, yeah. So like, you know, yeah, like we would have been saying 3-4 weeks ago with 0-0, get Curtis Jones on the pitch, get him on the pitch. Why hasn't he started? But I'm not being funny. Arsenal had maybe a little 5 or 10 minutes in the first half where they might have looked a little bit dangerous, but they didn't have a shot until like I don't know, it was just the 30th or 40th minute. They hadn't had a shot. Do you know what I mean?
don't think we were given enough credit because they were saying about how shit Arsenal were, but no one was saying it was because of how good we were. We fucking dominated. We took the piss. It just looked like a training game for us. We passed it round, didn't we? And it was a bit of a.
I just disconcert myself with what punters have to say, though, lads. Do you know what I mean? It's like it doesn't bother me because what do they know? Do you know what I mean? It's like in music. Do you know what I mean? Like Oasis's second album, What's the Story, More and Glory, was critiqued like the worst. They were saying they finished, they're slowing down, they're turning into old men. This is NME, MTV, all the biggest critics in the world, like your Skies, your BTs, your Match of the Days, all that shit, right? So, and then the album is like one of the best ever selling albums ever. Yeah. And then, so the next album that they done, Be Here Now, the critics, because they thought, shit, we were all wrong there, you know what I mean? So they rated Be Here Now 10 out of 10, everything. Oh, it's a masterpiece, it's a work of art. And then no one was really that into it, you know what I mean? And Noel Gallagher said that himself, and he said the only people who matter are the people who care about it, who are involved in it. You know what I mean? The fans, basically. He said they're the people who decide what matter, not or who's playing well, not the critics. Do you know what I mean? You can have whatever Alan Shearer and Ian Wright telling you that it's all about Arsenal not playing well or whatever. I don't watch it really. I watch the match and that's my verdict done. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's simple as. But or I'll watch the replays, but I don't listen to what any of them have to say because all that matters is what we think. Do you know what I mean? We know what we know. We've watched Liverpool all our lives. Do you know what I mean? We know what a good Liverpool side is. We know what a good Liverpool performance is. Do you know what I mean? So we don't need anyone to tell us that it was Arsenal playing shit or do you know what I mean? Like whatever they might be saying. Do you know what I mean? Because I genuinely haven't heard it. But
I'll have to take that on board, Jamie. I sit there biting my fucking wrist and everything, going, he's doing my fucking head, and that comes off the
yeah, it matters me when we're getting beat. When we're getting beat, it pisses you off when you're in Martin Tyler crying in. You know what I mean? When you're crying in the goal that's going to see. You know, when we're 0-0 or whatever, 1-0 down, and it's like, you know, if such and such was to score a goal here, there's no way back for Liverpool. All that, you know, this Liverpool, that. You think we're playing with like not even about 8 players that would normally be in the starting line, not playing here, lads. You know what I mean? Whatever. Not 8, but you know what I mean, 5 or 6, and it's just it winds you up. But when you win, you know that you've played well. You just ignore that. I laugh, makes me laugh. Do you know what I mean? Man, you think you can still we just beat Arsenal away 3-0 there. They didn't have a shot until 40 odd minutes. Even when he did, like, even in the second half, they come out and had to go and we just killed them off. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Simple as. Like, it was a unbelievable away performance. Do you know what I mean? That's a proper away performance that silence the crowds. You know, make sure Arsenal do zip all in the first half, and second half just come out and just give it to them. You know what I mean? Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Even Neville was saying, when it's like the old Liverpool. Yeah, we've got our fucking team back. That exactly. Is the old Liverpool. We've got our squad back nearly. You know
exactly, 100%, mate. That's the like I said, that's the up and down of it. People like even some of my mates who are Blues or whatever. You know what I mean? And they're having a good season for them. You know what I mean? So like leave them to it. You know what I mean? But saying, oh, you're going on about injuries all the time. We've all had injuries. I'm like, yeah, every team has had injuries, but you haven't had your 3 main centre halves out for the whole season there enough. Do you know what I mean? You know, like that's ridiculous. And then in turn, your 2 best centre midfielders playing in centre half. Do you know what I mean? For a large period of the season, and then both getting injured, and then having to like, and then like you say, you're attacking summer signing £45 million. You know what I mean? Winger, striker, whatever you want to call it. Do you know what I mean? Comes in, scores 9-10 goals, then he's out for 3 months. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not like it's mad for anyone to say that the injuries aren't the reason why we're playing well. Do you know what I mean? You look at the back 4, right? The back 4, James Pearce done a boss article on the back 4, and he said like we're basically our back 4's on. Say this isn't literal, but say our back 4 is 40 yards from the goal line normally with Van Dijk in the side. Yeah, it's now 20 yards from the goal line. Do you know what I mean? Because Van Dijk and Gomez had so much pace, and obviously with Fabinho in front of them, we were allowed to play that high line because at the time we played it that well, the other teams were getting caught offside nearly every time. And if they weren't getting caught offside, there's so much ground that they could make up. The Van Dijk, Gomez, Robertson, Trent all had so much pace that it wasn't really that much of an issue. If someone got in behind, all right, one in 100, you get in and score. Do you know what I mean? But you take that on the chin. You're not going to get a clean sheet every week, are you? But we near enough did last year. Do you know what I mean? We were unbelievable. Like the season that we won the league. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely phenomenal because we played that high line and it was so high that we were playing our football, all that football that we were playing side to side, trying to build it from the back. We were playing that in the other team's half. Do you know what I mean? Our wingers, our fullbacks, were playing as wingers. Salah and Mane were playing as forwards, close to Firmino, with midfielders around them and behind them supporting. It was just like, we were able to do what we do best in their close quarters, and that's why we kill teams off all the time. And even if they did get an early goal against us and catch us off guard, we'd tear it round by the end of the game because we were playing that much intense football in their half. The teams couldn't breathe. They were mentally wore down after 75 minutes. They couldn't act no more. Even if they bring players on, the players with that couldn't get into the game that much because we were that like in control of everything. So, and this wasn't just against little sides. This was against everybody. Do you know what I mean? And the fact that we have lost Van Dijk and Gomez means that, and Fabinho means that we are having to drop a lot deeper because we haven't got the pace. And you know what I mean? We haven't got the like Van Dijk. Like again, no disrespect to Phillips, Williams, or Kabak, but they're not the footballers of Van Dijk and Gomez. They can't play football like them yet. They're still learning to. You know what I mean? They haven't been in with the first team for as long as they have. Van Dijk's the best centre half in the world. Do you know what I mean? There's a big step. Like they can't play that game yet. Maybe one day they will be able to, but for now they're still learning to defend in the Premier League for the first time. Do you know what I mean? It's when Elvis Williams was at, where was he at, Kidderminster last year? Nat Phillips was at Stuttgart, come back for one game against Everton, went back to Stuttgart. Kabak, again, he was playing in Germany as a 19-year-old centre half. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a completely different kettle of fish to having the ball all the time and, you know, high up the pitch and having to, you know, play with the pressure of like, we're going for the league this season. Do you know what I mean? It's a completely different mindset. Never mind what you do with your feet. It's just, for me, like, it's, people can point fingers here, there, and whatever. Salah and Mane, you know, should be scoring more, blah, blah. Yeah, maybe they should have, but like at the end of the day, they weren't playing the game that they were. Look at them yesterday. They were devastating yesterday. Seeing Mane earlier, all right, he didn't score, whatever. You know what I mean? We could have scored a couple of goals, but Salah again missed a sitter early on. You know what I mean? But they were turning players and do you know what I mean? They looked like the Salah and Mane that we're used to seeing, where they just had their opponents absolutely petrified. Do you know what I mean? Like petrified, and that's what we need to keep that going now until the end of the season, just to start next season strong. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't be bothered if this season was a write-off. Like I say, we've been dealt the worst hand anyone could have been dealt. I could have sworn the Klopp made a deal with the devil. You know what I mean? And he said, you know what I mean? Look, you'll have great riches for 2 seasons. The season after that, though, you got to fall again. You know what I mean? And then it's on you. Do you know what I mean? And but no, obviously not. You know what I mean? I'm not superstitious or religious. Do you know what I mean? But
just shout on.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Yeah, but I seen it somewhere on Twitter and I started thinking about it and I thought, you know what, maybe, but I don't think Jürgen's that sort of fella. Well, I know he's not that sort of fella, do you know what I mean? But nah, it's not as bad as it seems now, is it? At the end of the day, do you know what I mean? I think that's the thing to look at. You gotta take the positive outlook out of everything now. Like, we've dug deep. We know that there's players that we can count on in those, you know, vital situations where we are left short, and we know the players that we can't count on. Do you know what I mean? But by all, I'm just looking forward to the next game now. After that, once you win a game like that, you're just looking forward to the next one, aren't you? It's that simple.
This has been like a bipolar podcast, hasn't it? We're like, we're back, we're gone for shit, we're boss, mad. But I do feel like after yesterday, they just look fresh, they look back to normal. As you said before, they're smiling. My first thought when Jota scored that third was, I want to see Mane's face. I want to see if he feels like the ball's been took off him and he's fuming and he was laughing his head off and smiling. I thought, that's what I want to see. That's where you want the team to be at. And that was me first. I didn't even celebrate the goal. I thought, let's see Mane's face here. And I thought, let's see what he's like here. And it's boss when you're winning. They're all smiling.
Yeah. Well, you could hear it on the pitch yesterday. Salah tried to give the ball. Salah could have went on his own and he tried to play Mane in. And like, I don't know if it was a bad ball or a bad touch from Mane or like a good interception from the centre. And you could hear Salah go, ah! But he wasn't fuming. He wasn't fuming that like, you know, like, you know, you've made me look bad or whatever. Like, I should have. It was like, I'm gutted for you there. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I really wanted to. We've both had a great game today. So just in that one let off, you know, that's what I took from it. Both had a good game today. I wanted to put you in there, lads. You know what I mean? I wanted to help you out. It looked like back to usual. It did. It looked like back to usual. We were devastating on the attack. they didn't look like scoring. I genuinely can't say too many times they broke our lines and got in behind. They tried to press us plenty of times, and it didn't work. Do you know what I mean?
No.
And that was with Phillips and Kabak at the back. Just give it side to side. We've got them players now, like Thiago. I think that's what Thiago's brilliant at when teams are pressing. Yeah, he's unbelievable in that situation where he's got a man running on him. You just create the space or you find the space. Do you know what I mean? It's not like he's not going to do 3 or 4 step overs and turn 3 men inside out. I think we all need to forget about that with Thiago. I think he's more of a like the way Wijnaldum's more of a, you know, he's more of an in between the lines player, isn't he? He does the dirty work, but it doesn't look like dirty work because he makes it look easy, basically. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he's always offering for the ball. He's always coming for the ball. He always gives you an option when he's got the ball. Well, yesterday, I think now with Fabinho, I think he's getting used to the pace a little bit more as well. You know, he hasn't impressed me as much as I thought he would, Thiago. But I can see it now. I've seen it in the last couple of games. I've seen it when he first come in and Fabinho and Henderson were in the side with him. You could see it then. You know what I mean? He's that sort of player. He's neat, he's tidy. You know what I mean? He creates space. He turns defence into attack with a couple of little changes of body movements and a couple of touches of the ball. You know what I mean? A pass here and there. You know, it's subtlety, but it's unbelievable what it does for you. Do you know what I mean? And I think
he's like Scholes, isn't he? I think.
Yeah.
He's terrible. Absolutely. If you ask him to defend, I don't want him anywhere near the fucking ball. But going forward, he's immense. But I like the little nasty stick he's got where he'll kick fuck out of you and then cry to the left that he hasn't touched it. And you're thinking, why are you saying you've touched the ball there? You snapped his knee. What are you doing? And he's like, no, I fucking want the ball. And I like that. I think you need a little bit of that in our team.
Yeah, well, he's a winner, isn't he? And you don't win what he's won without having that competitive edge. Do you know what I mean? His trophy record speaks for himself. Do you know what I mean? The pedigree he's got, like you just don't get into those teams and you don't win those trophies. You don't be key players in those teams without being a winner in your mentality and having like that mindset where, you know, it's all about what you're doing to make you win. Do you know what I mean? He's a top player. He is a top player, and we haven't seen the best of him yet. We haven't. Do you know what I mean? We've seen glimpses of the best of him, but we haven't seen the best of him in terms of form, in terms of big moments. Do you know what I mean? But I think it'll come with him. I think the more he plays with Fabinho in midfield, you know, Henderson's. You know, I know he's got I don't know when he's due back. I don't know. We'd be lucky to see him before the end of the season, I might imagine. But you know, once they start playing together, like I say, albeit for the later rounds of the European Cup or whatever, you know, and they develop an understanding. I feel like that's where you can talk about Van Dijk, you can talk about the front three, but our midfield was unbelievable last year. Do you know what I mean? Our midfield was unbelievable. We had Fabinho, Henderson, and then we had the luxury of Wijnaldum, Keita, Oxlade-Chamberlain or Milner whenever we sort of wanted. You know what I mean? Whoever we were playing against, he dropped one of them in to sort of suit the opposition, and it worked every time. Do you know what I mean? And we haven't been able to do that this season. We haven't been able to have a solid midfield. But we've been overrun in midfield in a lot of games. Do you know what I mean? Because there's so much space between the defence, midfield and attack because of what I was talking about earlier. It's just an hard situation. You can't replicate what you were doing the year before when you don't have that same structure in place. Do you know what I mean? It's just impossible to do it. And I honestly think that now that we're getting back to that structure being rebuilt, do you know what I mean? That enables us to play in the best way possible. That honestly, I genuinely think the corner has if we haven't turned the corner, we're right on the fucking 90-degree angle. Do you know what I mean? Right on the angle, you know what I mean? Honestly, we're right where the flag is because just the last couple of games I've seen us play. Do you know what I mean? It has looked with Fabinho back in midfield. You know, it's not one player doesn't make a difference, but Fabinho, Jota. Do you know what I mean? What that enables other players to do, then, like I've said, it's I can't see any teams that are better than us. Do you know what I mean? That we're gonna play. Do you know what I mean? Maybe Man United. Do you know what I mean? But they're not a great side. Do you know what I mean? And you've got some big players and some match winners. Do you know what I mean? But they're not a great side. Do you know what I mean? No, I don't think anyone would say that they were. So
No,
like, no, do you know what I mean? Well, that's someone had to say, you know what I mean? I've got tickets to sell in Manchester, lad, so I'm trying to be a little bit impartial.
We'll say it for you, lad, don't worry.
Music speaking, the Manchester boss, do you know what I mean? Football speaking, they're not my favourite people, but you know what I mean? Yeah, especially not when we're playing them. But no, I just focus on Liverpool, though, me, like, do you know what I mean? And I think us as a team, we're just like when we're able to play the way that we play, do you know what I mean? I know it sounds so simple, like if we score more goals than the other team, we'll win the games, you know what I mean? But it really is like that's that midfield sort of engine, do you know what I mean? Working like being the engine of the team, working all the time, keeping everyone else, you know, doing what they do. It's like and take that game yesterday will give us so much fucking confidence. Like, you know, like, you know, when you've had a few bad, that 3-0 away win against Arsenal, who are a dangerous side going forward. They've got some fucking very good players. Do you know what I mean? They're not like a shithead team like who we have been beat by in the past few weeks. They're a good side, you know, on the day. And we didn't let it be their day yesterday, regardless of what you said the pundits are saying. We weren't their day because Liverpool were there and we turned up and played the way Liverpool play. And that's the confidence that will give the lads. I'd love to be like, I don't know if they're training today or tomorrow or whatever. I'd love to be like in that training ground, like when they're back. Do you know what I mean? Bet you they're absolutely buzzing. I bet you they're like working harder than ever. Do you know what I mean? That like the atmosphere, it'll be really a big change to what it has been. I'd imagine. Regardless, obviously, people like the manager and people in the club are going to say, "Oh no, it's all good." You know what I mean? We're all good. We're just working really hard. Obviously, you know, there's going to be down days there, but the next day that they go training, it's going to be a good day. You know what I mean? They're going to be up for it. Just going to be competitive because I want to be in that team. You know what I mean? I want to be in the side now. Do you know what I mean? We're winning again. We're looking good. I can make a difference, whatever. And the competition's back. You know, the front three, Jota's come on there and scored 2. Do you know what I mean? Not only is Firmino got, you know, to pull his finger out a little bit and start stepping up on him, which I don't think Firmino was bad yesterday. I think Firmino played. I think everyone played well yesterday, to be honest.
You know what, Firmino, Jamie? I think when Jota came on, he went into that. He slipped into that number 10 role. I think that's where he needs to be. Like, he's playing as a striker. I think at one point in the first half, he was on the edge of our 6-yard box, and I was saying to me, Dad, he's our fucking striker. Why is he there? And he hasn't got like he hasn't got an attacking brain where even when Salah breaks free in the first half and Mane's bombing forward, Firmino's trotting. Not interested in getting in the box to score. He just wants to set up. So I think you need to replace him with Jota and play him in a 3 behind him, I think.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying, and I do agree to an extent, but you've got to look at even when we have been competitive, Salah and Mane have always been the top goal scorers, do you know what I mean? They always have been, and I know he plays in the middle, and when the teams line up and he's the number 9, but make no mistake about it, the players, it's training, the way they work, it's all based around Mane and Salah scoring goals, do you know what I mean? And all right, when the crosses come in the box, yeah, he should be in the box ready to pick up, you know, as a striker, or and it's not even a striker, an attacking midfielder would do. Do you know what I mean? I agree with you there. I think sometimes he does need to make more of an effort. But I do think he has been worked into the ground for the best part of 3 to 4 years. Do you know what I mean? I know he gets paid a lot of money, but sometimes your body just physically needs a rest. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and he's tried to do that now. I think some games he still showed it. Do you know what I mean? Some games this season he still showed like the Bobby, like, you know, the Palace game, whatever, and even some of the games, you know, you think, yeah, he looked good there, like that was back, and I think he needs that bit of competition. But I do, obviously he's not scoring as many goals as he has done in the past couple of years. Neither does Mane though. At the same time, do you know what I mean? I do think Josh is probably he's definitely in with the shout as a start, but I do think he looks more dangerous when he does come off the bench for the time being, because like when players are, he's got a sharp mind, Jota, and he's obviously a sharp player. But I think when teams are like a bit lackluster and tired from coping with the front three of Firmino, Mane, and Salah all game and trying to stop the way they work, Jota comes on and he always finds a spanner in the works. He always gets himself into a goal scoring position because his brain is a lot sharper because he hasn't been running around for 60, 65 minutes. Do you know what I mean? Not to say he doesn't play well when he starts either, but I think as a young player, I think he's developing nicely, Jota, just coming on and taking confidence from scoring goals. Do you know what I mean? I think once you become, the thing is, once you come into that front three and you're a permanent fixture in that front three, the pressure is on you then. Do you know what I mean? The pressure is well and truly on you to produce week in, week out. You know what I mean? Assists, goals, it has to be. Do you know what I mean? You don't score or assist for 3 games. Like you say, the media, and I know I don't listen to the media, but they do listen to the media, whatever. They start talking about them being in a mini crisis, a mini form of mini rut, or all this shit that they spout. Do you know what I mean? And it plays on the minds, and then all of a sudden, and the pressure from the fans, X, Y, and Z. I think as a young player, as he is doing now, like I think coming on, scoring goals, you know, getting yourself half an hour, 45 minutes, like just immersing yourself nicely into a nice, you know, like into learning your trade at Liverpool Football Club, and then, you know, you're forgetting how young he is. Do you know what I mean? A couple of years time, he steps up to where Salah and Mane have been the last couple of years, and then I think he'll be well and truly ready to deal with the pressure and you know, and fully back it up and be a very, very big player, not only for Liverpool but in Wales football. Do you know what I mean? I think he's that good. I think make no mistake, I'm not saying he's I think he's a fantastic young player. I think he's got something that a lot of players haven't, and it's that drive to beat a man and know where the goal scoring position is, the runs that he makes, everything about him as an attacking player. And I just think give him a year or two just to toughen up a little bit and learn from Salah, Mane, and Firmino. Come on, play with each one of them differently, and then when it's time for him to step up into the side, I think it's going to be great. But I think Firmino, what he does defensively, I know people, and rightly so, they say that like he hasn't been put in a slack. Got some of my best mates have literally made voodoo dolls for him. Do you know what I mean? Like that thing, that not literally, but you know what I mean. May as well. But yeah, like I think it's the defensive work. He's in the team to do that as well. Do you know what I mean? He's in the like. How many times have you seen him making heads off a corner? Do you know what I mean? And he's not that great in the air. Do you know what I mean? But I think the defensive work that he does do off the ball is a big part of how we play our game. Do you know what I mean? And again, the way he brings in Salah and Mane when he's allowed to play close to them, and the fullbacks are playing in winger positions almost. Do you know what I mean? I think he's a big part of how we play, and I think to eradicate him, I think is the wrong way. I think to nurture him back to his best is the right way. Do you know what I mean? And he's only going to do that by staying in the team and, you know, finding his feet again. And it won't be, I'm not saying don't drop him every once in a while, but I think to throw him out of the team would be foolish, because he's a big game player when he needs to be, Firmino. And like, you know, I think Wijnaldum's another one of them, and it looks like he's not going to be here at the end of the season from what I can see. And I think you need players who've been and done it now in big games, and Firmino has. Do you know what I mean? The winners against PSG and X, Y, and Z. You need them players, regardless of what youngsters you're going to sign or, you know, to come through. You know what I mean? I think you need that experience. He is now an experienced player. Do you know what I mean? Like, no way about it. He's been with us for about 5 or 6 years, maybe. And I think you need that. You look at the Man United team that dominated for you know, the majority of my childhood, which ruined a lot of my childhood. Do you know what I mean? So those players were in that team for a long period of time. They weren't in and out. So, you know, you look at your Beckham, your Gary Neville, your Roy Keane, Scholes, Nicky Butt. Do you know what I mean? As much as we hated them, do you know what I mean? Like, even like Andy Cole and Dwight York, they were there for a long period of time. Rooney was there for a long period of time. Do you know what I mean? These are massive players who take their experience in the stride. You look at how long Henderson's been at us now. How good does he look now compared to the player that he was? That all comes through experience. Do you know what I mean? And being in the mould of a movement, not only a football team. It's like a movement. You know what I mean? He's trying to instill his own ethos, like what Shankly done. You know what I mean? He took a struggling sort of team and built them up to this. You know, where they look like, where you can think, where is the end? Where is the fall going to be here? Where's the end going to be? And I think once we have the big players back and he's allowed to rebuild properly, I think that's what he wants to do. That's his end game. He wants to leave Liverpool in a position where it's like, come on, any manager who takes over these now, you know what I mean? It's all in place for them, really. Do you know what I mean? Whether it be Steven Gerrard, whether it be Pep Linders, whoever, you know what I mean? Like, I think that's what he's working towards. And to do that, you need to keep those players who've been there throughout. Do you know what I mean? And you know, I think Firmino's I've still got a lot of time for him. He hasn't been great, and well, he's been poor in some circumstances. Do you know what I mean? By his standards and by what we used to see him, but you know, he's still a fucking top player. Do you know what I mean? And he'll still come good. There will be a time where we're like, there he is. Do you know what I mean? And
yeah. I think he's defined by the number on his back as well. Like, he's not a number 9. He's not. No. He's not a Fowler or a Rush. He's not. No, he's not. Number 10, isn't he? He's needs to be behind the striker. And I think we look at him. You've got these dickheads on Twitter and all that who are like, "Oh, fucking get rid of him." Salah and Mane, put them in any other team. They're not scoring the goals they score for Liverpool without a Firmino. He drops in. He takes away 2 defenders and they get in behind. That's how we work. He's a massive cog in the machine, and without him, I've said it for ages. I don't think you can replace him. People are saying like get Mbappe or Haaland and that. They're out for themselves to get goals, and it'd be brilliant to have a player like that. But without him sacrificing his own performance and his own stats and that, I don't think you get the same goals.
Yeah, see, like Mbappe would be a replacement for Salah or Mane, but again, you'd have to instill a work rate into him. Do you know what I mean? That he hasn't. I don't think he's got at the minute. Haaland will probably change the way that we play. You know what I mean?
Completely, yeah.
You know what I mean? It would be like if we were signing him, that'd be like a statement to say, like, well, I'm changing things up. Do you know what I mean? Like, maybe Salah and Mane will play more as wingers. Do you know what I mean? And you know, but like, I don't know. No one knows like behind the scenes what's going to happen. Least of all me. Do you know what I mean? But I wouldn't be so quick to. I think that's him a bit of fat. You know, like I'm not going to name drop any players because I've got so much respect for them all after what we've been through over the past few years. Do you know what I mean? I think like I'd if any of them were to walk out the door, I wouldn't be saying good riddance. Do you know what I mean? I'd be saying good luck. Do you know what I mean? And thank you for what you've done for us. So I'm not going to name drop any players who I think he will probably look to get rid of if I was him, maybe. Do you know what I mean? But I think you can see it. But then you can see that there is going to be a bit of fat trimmed. And there's maybe a couple of young players who don't quite make the grade, might move on, you know what I mean? And but then again, maybe Lottie might go out and go on loan and come back different players. You don't, you know. But at the minute, Matt, looking forward to the next few games and just looking forward to getting pubs open. Hopefully, I can play a few gigs before the games to a few fans. Do you know what I mean? And and like look to getting people back in the ground. Getting the ground full capacity again, getting life back to normal, and going out and giving the team the appreciation they deserve for winning that league title. Do you know what I mean? Like giving them that reception that they deserve. We need to welcome them back, with open arms, no matter what happens this season, and just get back to where we were. That's it for me. You know what I mean? And obviously a few gigs from me, a few boss nights and whatever, to get the fans buzzing again, get the fans looking forward to getting, singing those songs in the stadiums again, and whatever it is, whatever it is that inspires fans to be fans. You know what I mean? I'm looking forward to them getting that inspiration back. Me as a fan, I'm looking forward to getting that inspiration back. You know what I mean? I'm looking forward to life returning, and but we can just, for now, we can only just support now. You know, we've literally been dragged through hell this season with everything, with injuries, decisions, whatever it is. Do you know what I mean? Bad luck, whatever it will be, bad decisions, anything like. But we have gone through hell as a team and as a collective. Do you know what I mean? And we are coming back out the other side. And you know, maybe if I do this podcast again, you'll say to me like, "Fucking, you were right there, lad." You know what I mean? We didn't have to turn the corner. Do you know what I mean? Like we've just we go on and win the next 8 games in the league. Who knows? It's not unlike Liverpool to do that. Not unlike Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool to do that. And we might win the European Cup. Who knows? But nah, for me now, I'm just looking forward to seeing Liverpool back to normal, not only on the pitch, but you know, as a fan, to being able to go and watch them again, and like for fans to be able to go out together and celebrate watching them, whether it's in the stadium, whether it's in the pub, whether it's in your house with your mates and whatever. Do you know what I mean? Looking forward to everyone being together and sharing the excitement and the joy of watching what once we've got a fully fit squad, there'll still be like a world-class Liverpool team. Do you know what I mean? Let's make no mistake about it. With the best manager in the world, regardless of what Guardiola's doing at the minute. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Get you back on before Istanbul as well, lad. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, defo, 100%, lads. Yeah, we'll do a live stream, whatever. But yeah, if we can't go over there, you know what I mean, I'll have to. I'll do a load of live streams. I think if we can't get over there and we get to Istanbul, I'll have to do something like, because it just wouldn't feel like a European Cup final if I'm not singing to loads of people. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, no. And then obviously, like for me personally, I just want to get back into touring with my own tunes. I've wrote, you know, obviously the album come out. I want to get out and play those songs live properly. Want to obviously the tour and shit like that in September. Fingers crossed. Yeah, just interact with people again, both with the Liverpool tunes and with my own, and get the album recorded and whatever. You know what I mean? Just fucking.
We had an absolute shitload of questions to ask you. So are we all right to just fire them?
Yeah, fire away. Yeah, no, yeah, I'm not going anywhere. Like I know it sounded like. I know it sounded like I was
because you're like one of the lads in the pub. We've just lost all structure to the fucking podcast, and I feel like I'm having a bevy with you. I'm swigging fucking bottle after bottle.
Yeah. Do you know what, lad? I can talk the ass legs off a donkey, as you probably know now. He's probably thinking, you're like, fucking hell, he can't have. So
that's what we want.
Well, I know that for the fact my mates send me to shut up every 5 minutes, you know what I mean? Because I talk fucking know it. But
no, that's what we want, lads.
Yeah, no, fire away with your questions, man.
I was like a fangirl before, and I had you on Alexa, fucking singing round, fucking something's got to give and all that, bouncing around the house. And then we were going to do a podcast because he said he hasn't come on.
Yeah.
And I was like, fucking hell, wounded. And then I was downstairs, listening to your tunes and that. And then he went, he's coming on at 2. And I was like, damn. So,
lad, I'm sorry about that mix-up, as I say, but yeah, no, I'm enjoying it as well. It's been a good chat.
Oh,
it's nice to just nice to talk to Liverpool fans, especially after you've won, you know what I mean? It's good to talk about us in a positive way. It's a lot better than just sitting here and going, oh, he's shite, he's played shite, oh, we can't create a chance, oh, the back four, you know what I mean? What's the goalie doing? What's he doing? You know, all that shit, just I hate it, you know what I mean? I've been through it, you know what I mean? We've all said it, but it, like, because that's, as fans, that's in our nature to do, but as fans, we are also very fickle. So as soon as you get a couple of good results, you're like, we're fucking back on top of the world. Do you know what I mean?
And we've been like, it's been mad. Like, what was the game? I was saying, we'll finish second this season. We'll finish second, and then we got swatted, and I was like, oh my god, I sounded a dickhead on that last podcast.
Yeah, no, do you know what? Like, you've got to be an optimist to be a fan, haven't you? You know what I mean? Otherwise, you wouldn't be a fan. Simple as. So, like, just don't worry about that, lads. Plenty of us have had our words, plenty of time. I remember Brendan Rodgers here. Like, there used to be, we'd have our coach that goes home and away, still do. And like, there'd be like, obviously we'd have mates on, like 5 or 6 different coaches who all go home and away, because we'd be there every week and in Europe every other week for 10 years near enough. And when we were winning the league with Rodgers, when we thought we were in the league, we beat Norwich 3-2, didn't we? You know what I mean? Sterling scored that screamer. And we'd all went to Norwich and just fucking bossed their house, dead sunny. someone had let the party out for an apartment before before the game. Some Liverpool fan, it was the students in Norwich, and literally 7 coaches turned up at this apartment in Norwich. You know, there was about 400 people in there. It was fucking nuts, and it was the word that just sort of went out in a few of the WhatsApp groups. There's this apartment here that's having a party, and we all turned up and fucking. We were I went outside, and then this lad come downstairs with a Liverpool hat on from this building right next to the ground it was, and he was like, "Come on, you know what I mean?" And fucking the old coach just walked up the stairs. It was boss. But that. I remember after that game, on the way home, oh, we fucking done it. We won the fucking league. Do you know what I mean? That's it now. We'll fucking batter Chelsea. We'll batter Palace. We'll batter fucking Newcastle. Do you know what I mean? It's done. We've won the league. We were bouncing down the Yankee. That was the bar that we used to go to after it. Just off Lime Street. Bouncing down there for hours, all for 3 a.m. so it's shut, you know what I mean? Proper premature league winning party, you know what I mean? 3 games to go. Who the fuck's stopping this team? And obviously it turned on our heads, and we probably said a lot of things on social media back then, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, my mates probably give me a lot of shit about it, you know, my mates who aren't Liverpool fans, but you know, that's just part of being a football fan, innit? You know what I mean? Everton was saying that they were going to win the league fucking 3 games into the start of the season, weren't they? You know what I mean?
I still give them shit about it, you know.
Mate, it's just but that's it. You know what? We've done it plenty of times ourselves and fell short. So it's just one of them. You know what I mean? It's funny. That's what's funny about being a football fan. You get to laugh at your mates. You know what I mean? Your mates get to laugh at you. That's just part of that's part of it. You know, I'm not going to use that word, I'm going to say it, but I'm not going to use it because it's cringy as fuck. Do you know what I mean? But it's all part of it, innit? You know what I mean? And yeah, but if you want to fire away with them questions, because I'm still just eating away into the time here, chatting shit.
Damn, honestly, as long as you've got the time, mate, where are you all day?
I'm just plugging my laptop in, lad. Yeah.
You talk that much, just fucking laptops run out of battery.
Go on, lads. Well, fire away.
So you obviously, you mentioned about lockdown and all that. How has that been for you as a whole?
At first it was all right because I was that busy, you know, buzzing around everywhere, flying nearly every week on a plane to a different country to play gig for different Liverpool fans or whatever it was. Boss, do you know what I mean? I was living the life of my dreams for probably about a year or 18 months leading up to that lockdown. So I finished my album off and all that. So I had a well enjoyed rest. You know what I mean? I spent a lot of time with my bird. You know what I mean? And it was nice. It was we were going out more for walks. I fucking lost a load of weight, and then put it all back on again. In further into it, but you know what I mean. I'd started going out on my bike, which I hadn't done in years. Going out for walks, going out for runs, eating a lot better. Really, not at the start I picked up, but then once I got into it, it was a couple of months, and then. Doing all the album promo was exciting. Do you know what I mean? So it was sound. And then once the album come out, a few weeks later, it was what now? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's happening here? And obviously into the second lockdown and stuff like that. And it was it was a hard one to take the second one. Do you know what I mean? It was the album was flying. The weeks leading up to the album, say Excitement's charted in the top 10, buzzing as a boss sort of night out for that because town was opened at opened back up, and we'd had a private event. You know, we had a boss night there. I'm not going to say where it was because I don't want the place to get in trouble for licensing, but basically because it was a private party, we didn't socially distance it. You know what I mean? Everyone was being sort of careful, do you know what I mean? Not so there weren't hundreds of us in there, but there was a few who'd be all right. It was bad, sorry. The first one was quite a nice rest, do you know what I mean? But then obviously once the album come out, and then I was right, I need to build on this momentum and gig. You know what I mean? Every band does when they release an album. So I was this is shit now. Do you know what I mean? I need to be out doing what I do, establishing myself as an artist, in my own right, not just someone who sings Liverpool songs, which I love doing, and I will continue to do for a long time. Do you know what I mean? Because I love doing that as well. But like obviously, just establishes me as like a singer-songwriter in my own right. I needed to build on the momentum I had, and it was tough. So I've tried my best. Do you know what I mean? To keep that. I mean, I hate the word content, you know, on social media and stuff like that. But it's literally the only way you can interact with your fans at the minute. And so I tried. You know, it was tough, like to sort of go from one extreme to the, you know, the excitement and the I wrote the album and I just not flat. Do you know what I mean? Trying to write songs when I wasn't living life and gaining perspective on it, which, you know, I managed to overcome and like I worked through it. So now I'm in a good place. Do you know what I mean? Like I moved into a house with my birds. She's made it like obviously a lovely home for me. Like couldn't ask for anything better. Like I'm looking forward to, you know, I'm planning gigs again, at least, do you know what I mean? I've written a second album. I'm going to record that in Rockfield Studios where like some of the Oasis' second album was done. Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody album was done. Some of the, like, honestly, some of the albums that have been done there, Stone Roses albums been done there. You know, Bowie's work there, Iggy Pop, Black Sabbath, you know, I'm talking Ozzy Osbourne and shit like that. Like, all sorts of people have been there. Motorhead. Honestly, like my dates for the studio were conflicted with Florence and the Machines. Do you know what I mean? And thankfully, she booked the studio somewhere else as well, and she was going to go with that one. So I got to use this one. But you know what I mean? That just shows the place I'm going to live there for 14 days in Monmouth by Swansea, where we sometimes stop before we go to Swansea away when we play them. And like I can't wait to do that. You know what I mean? So things are looking good again now. I'm positive. Like the sun's back out, you know what I mean? Like the nights are light again. You don't feel like your days are wasted because like I could go up for a walk now once I get off this podcast and just for 45 minutes in a nice light, and then I've still got another 4 hours to sit in, you know, in the garden or whatever and chill out and go and do whatever I want. You know, it's still, you feel like you've got more, you can do more, especially in a lockdown when it's light. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think it's going to be not only good for me, I think it'd be good for everyone, that, you know what I mean? So yeah, definitely. Lockdowns, it's been up and down for me, do you know what I mean? But I've managed to keep writing music. Like that's the only thing I can do, you know, really. I can't live stream gigs and that were all right at the start, but you know, it's not the real thing. Especially I've done a socially distanced gigs which were a boss little uplift just before Christmas, which I think I really needed, do you know what I mean? Because I was like, my personal momentum was lying flat before that. So that gave me like a good, and then demoed all the second album now. So, you know, I've got things that I feel like I've been productive with it, even though it hasn't necessarily been such a nice time. I feel like I've come out with good things from it. And yeah, so I'm just looking forward now to the next steps. And yeah, people are getting vaccines, you know what I mean? Like, you know, people are feeling safer, which is the main thing for me. If people are safer, great, you know what I mean? Like, I don't, like, I personally, if someone said to me tomorrow, take your vaccine, Jay, and you've got your life back, I'd have to belt on mates and say, go ahead, lad, you know, shoot right into me veins, lad, do you know what I mean? No problem at all. Whether, I don't know what's in it, I'm not a doctor, do you know what I mean? I'm not a doctor, I'm a musician, so I don't know what's in it. Have I got reservations about the government? Of course I have, do you know what I mean? Who hasn't? Do you know what I mean? There are loads of fucking crooks and gangsters in suits and ties, do you know what I mean? We all know that, but let's just not be fooled by the bollocks, but we do need to live again, you know what I mean? And if this is the answer, we're just going to have to go with it. Unless someone out there has got a better answer to a way that we can all live, the way that we want to live in a sustainable way, do you know what I mean? But, you know, we're just going to have to crack on with the vaccine for the time being. You know, Jeremy Corbyn was the man for me, and everyone fucked him off. So it shows that not everyone thinks like us, and maybe to get along, we're just going to have to go along with certain things. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So, no, there is quite massive questions to be pointed and asked of the government throughout all of this bollocks. But, you know, let's wait till everyone's safe first and people aren't dying, and then, don't get me wrong, I'll be right there pointing questions. Do you know what I mean? I won't be digging up the past because I will want to move forward and move out of it. But I personally will never forget some of the decisions made, and particularly thrown towards my industry. You know what I mean? Like, so the lack of support I've had. I've been lucky that I've got this profile with Liverpool Football Club, and I've managed to build up a massive network of fans in a short space of time with releasing my own music, that like I'm able to earn not massive amounts, but I'm able to keep myself ticking over without actually going out and gigging. You know what I mean? For some artists and bands, they don't have that luxury. They literally do not have that luxury, and they've struggled, and they have had to go to other normal jobs, and not spend time perfecting the trade like they normally would be. Do you know what I mean? Because it is a trade. It's not just something someone does. You know, people do it for fun, but people take it very seriously, and people do it for a living. And you know, the lack of support to those people has been absolutely disgusting. Not to mention other areas of industry, do you know what I mean? But like, you know, I feel let down. But I never expected much of a Tory government anyway, obviously.
They just left your industry to die, didn't they, really? They weren't asked about it.
And many others, do you know what I mean? But like, that's what you get with them, you know what I mean? Like, at first they didn't want us to lock down because they didn't want to lose out on the economy. Do you know what I mean? And then obviously that's the shit hit the fan with that one. So they were like, right, we're all locking down again. Do you know what I mean? And then they open up with these stupid tier systems, the loopholes around all sorts of things. They weren't even abiding to their own rules, by the way, in the first place. And then, you know, just the way they've handled everything, it's just been a complete shit show. Do you know what I mean? What we should, like, and I'm not a nationalist, by the way, do you know what I mean? I'm a socialist, do you know what I mean? I believe in like equality for everyone, and I believe everyone should be able to get a bit of the cake, do you know what I mean? You can do as well for yourself as you like, do you know what I mean? And earn as much money as you like if you work for it and work hard. You know, no one's taking that right away from you, but you've got to put a little bit back for the people who don't have the capabilities or the fortune that you've had to start in that profession that you were in, you know what I mean? You've always got to put...
Sorry, lads, sorry.
No, it's
scary that people's mindsets aren't like that. So, like, it fucking terrifies me. I'm a spark myself, and, you know, I do all right myself, and you used to be a decent spark, apparently.
Yeah, but, I'm better than Carl anyway, lads.
But I just, like, it scares me that people think once you're making a half-decent living, fuck everyone else, like, I'll have it all, and they can have nothing. And, you know, I'll always try and give back, and Jay's the same, you're the same. It terrifies me that there's actually people out there who'd rather see people struggle for them to benefit more than they're already benefiting. It's fucking madness. It's terrifying.
It's like the LA thing with me. People go to me, haven't you made any money off that? And you took a penny off that? And I'm like, nah, it's all gone to a local charity, do you know what I mean? In the city. And they're like, well, why haven't you took it? I said, lad, don't you realise what that done for my profile, that song? Like, I've made money off that in the long term with getting fucking gigs, getting my name out there, raising my profile, getting me to gigs where I can earn, you know, money from them and live off gigs and stuff like that, and whatever else to do. Do you know what I mean? It got me into a position where people wanted to buy my own records, never mind the Liverpool song. Do you know what I mean? That song was the platform for me. Do you know what I mean? So when people say, you're thinking, no, because that's not what it is. I've had my bit of the cake by progressing, you know what I mean? And then likewise, struggling people in the city also will always get their bit of the cake because that song streams all the time and it always generates revenue. And that money now, Boss Night don't even intervene and hand it on to the charity, by the way, which every penny of it, which they recruited, went straight to the charity. Boss Night have now said, no, look, yeah, you have the license for that now, so the money comes direct to you, so the charity. We don't have to give them we don't have to give them £10,000 checks every few months. Do you know what I mean? It just goes to them. Do you know what I mean? And it's fucking brilliant. And
that's class.
That's socialism in itself. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, do you know what? The governments haven't got it, but yeah. Next question, suppose. I forgot we were doing a question.
You just answered one of my questions about one of your songs, so we'll put it back in later. But what actually motivates you to get into the music and that? Pick a guitar up and play.
My ma always wanted me to play guitar. Always, like she was like, she's a music man. Do you know what I mean? My dad loved footy, and like, you know, I think through my ma he got into music, into his own little bit of music. But like, you know, my mum was a music head, and obviously my mum like sort of played guitar a little bit, but she never like got lessons in, and like, because like with her background, she wasn't really in a privileged position where she could pay for guitar lessons all the time and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And her mum and dad, you know, dad was in the Navy, and mum was like, you know, working, like can't even remember what my nan done. She died when I was about 6, do you know what I mean? But like that was everyone's life back then, do you know what I mean? So my mum always said that she wanted their kids to have the opportunity to learn an instrument because it gets you into, it opens doors for you in later life. And when she told me this as a kid, I was like, what are you on about, Mum? I don't want to play the guitar. I want to go and play football. Don't care about doors in later life. I'm going to play up front for Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? That obviously never happens. And it was probably like, as a kid, I wasn't into it. I didn't like practicing. But like, she used to make me know, you're going to your guitar lesson. If you want to go to footy, you're going to have to practice your guitar and that, you know what I mean? And I didn't practice. I used to just sit in my room with it on my knee. Do you know what I mean? And just not do it, you know what I mean, for half an hour.
I do that now.
Yeah, and so do I sometimes, lad. But honestly, it was nothing. Do you know what I mean? So then got into fucked it off. Probably played footy, listened to Pleasure Rooms, listened to rap, listened to whatever everyone else was listening to at my age. You know what I mean? Like I was at 11, 12. And then I say 13, and a few of my mates started listening to the Beatles and Oasis and that. And I was like, yeah, that's decent. That I'm into that. And then I picked, my cousin got a guitar for his birthday. He was a few years younger than me. And I picked the guitar up and I remembered the last 2 songs that I'd learned was Summer of '69, only the chords. And the other one was it might be Imagine or something like that. Or something. No, it wasn't. It was There She Goes, the riff by the Lars to There She Goes. Yeah. And I remember playing it on his guitar. I was like, I can still play that. Do you know what I mean? That's bad. Do you know what I mean? And then, but I liked that song then. I didn't like that. I didn't like any of them songs when I was learning them. I didn't listen to it. You know what I mean? So I was like, wow. So I went home then to my mum's, got my guitar back out. It was like, got on the internet, and then that was me then. Do you know what I mean? Just started learning chords off the internet, looking at videos on YouTube on how to play it, and just retaught myself. Do you know what I mean? I knew 2 chords for Summer of '69, and that riff for the last. That was all I remembered. You know what I mean? But obviously, my fingers and that, because my mum made me go to lessons every week. My fingers bent into all the shapes dead easily, which is, as you probably know, as learning the guitar, that's the hardest thing. Getting your fingers just to change shape quickly. It's hard, but I'd sort of learned that, as a kid. And even though I never liked it, I knew how to do it. So when I picked the guitar up, I sort of started learning quite quickly. So by 15, I was in a band. You know what I mean? Starting a band, nearly turning 6. Yeah, 15 it was, turning 16. Started the band with a couple of my mates. We were shite but we were playing gigs and that. You know what I mean? We were having a go, and that's then that started performing to family parties and that. You know what I mean? Just shit and people liked it. You know what I mean? Especially when I was playing covers. And I wasn't playing in the band because everyone thought they were a rock star in the band at the time, and it was all you couldn't even hear me sing. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, that was how I got into it. And then, obviously, me dad loved footy. Me and my dad, do you know what I mean? That was our thing. My younger brother, all mad on footy, Liverpool, all played football. You know what I mean? All not bad. My dad was a good player when he was younger. My brother's quite good. He plays for Aston at the minute, which is sort of semi-pro, sort of stand, only the under 18s, but he's only 16 himself. And so I wasn't ever that good, you know what I mean? I was all right, though. I played for some decent teams. I was always in my school team, in and out of my school team when I wanted to be, but I always played, you know what I mean? I was captain for teams, you know what I mean? I wasn't a bad player. I'm still not a bad player now. I'm 5-a-side when I'm fit. Do you know what I mean? I'm all right. So footy was massive for me. So always Liverpool, start wanted me. My dad always told me that going to the matches were the best days of his life. Do you know what I mean? Going following Liverpool around Europe and up and down the country. He said it was the best time in my life. So I always knew that as soon as I had dough, as soon as I left school at 16, I wanted to work for me dad, have enough money to go to match. That was it. Do you know what I mean? Go home and away, and that's what I've done for obviously I was still going when I was younger, but not as every week. Do you know what I mean? Sort of thing. I'd go the odd couple of away games a season to Blackburn and Bolton, Wigan and shit like that, the close ones. Do you know what I mean? But I wasn't going on the coach every week on my own with a load of lads. Do you know what I mean? Once I was 16, that was what I'd done. And so that once the lads found out, obviously the band split up, but I still played gigs downtown. cover gigs, open mic nights. A few of the lads started coming on, and then that's how I got into doing the Boss Nights, because a few of the lads from Boss Night had heard about me playing and asked me if I wanted to go down and play a few tunes at the start of the night, and then just took off. And the Liverpool tunes just sort of happened, like through the club asking me to do a documentary where I played the songs for a documentary. So then that was a set list in disguise, do you know what I mean? So then once I started, I was already playing gigs around the pubs of Anfield because of the Boss Nights, even though I weren't playing Liverpool songs, just like Town Called Malice and shit like that. You know, everyone loves all that, don't they?
Yeah.
And that's how I started dropping the odd Liverpool tunes in here and there. Everyone fucking loved it even more, and it just, here we are, do you know what I mean? It's just like, I think the rest is on video on YouTube, do you know what I mean, sort of thing. But yeah, that's how I got into the music. That's how I got into the footy side of the music and all that, you know what I mean? And yeah, it's just like, I never meant for it to happen. I just done it because I enjoyed it. Obviously, once I realised, I'd always written tunes myself, but they were just for me, like my little escapes. But then once I realised I had a platform, I was like, well, I need to fucking stop working as an electrician and saying, if I'm going to have a go, I'm 24. It's now or never, do you know what I mean? Like, I need to have a go now before I missed the boat completely. And I started to like my own tunes and shit like that. And just like, obviously, but I'm writing tunes about real life, about what me and you live, what you live, do you know what I mean? What people who are listening to this podcast live. It's not, even though it's not about Liverpool FC, it's still about like the lives of all of us, do you know what I mean? It's like, it's just the working class life and the, you know, the things I see right with it, the things I see wrong with it, and just little quirks about it, and the joys of it, the struggles of it, the escapes of it, whatever. Do you know what I mean? Just like, just an insight into us. And thankfully, people seen it that way with the album. Fucking dream to do a debut album and shit, sign a record deal. You know, I sit here and say, yeah, the lockdown was tough, but I'm still sat here in my own house off the back of all this. You know what I mean? In a good place, like mentally. You know, everything's cool with the family. Got a posh relationship with my bird. Like, it's like, once we're back, I'll be back living the life of my dreams again, flying around, playing gigs to all sorts of to Liverpool fans and, you know, music fans and whatever. It's good. It's cracking. It's all, I do a lot of it to obviously my mum getting me into music and getting me to learn the guitar and stuff like that, and always having CDs on, because I've always had an ear for it, but I was never something that was my passion. And then obviously to me dad for, like, you know, being a red, do you know what I mean? And thank God he wearing a blue, because I wouldn't have been able to sing in before Champions League finals and stuff like that, you know what I mean? And obviously thank him, like, for raising me the way he did, and, you know, showing me the value of an hard day's graft through working with him and stuff like that as a spark. And it's I've just took that ethos and put it into my tunes, do you know what I mean? Yeah. And like, it's paid off so far. I'm not a millionaire, like, do you know what I mean? I'm not Noel Gallagher, like, but
not yet, lad.
No, not yet, lad. But, you know, as the album says, I'm getting by, do you know what I mean? And yeah, I'm looking forward to what comes next. Whether I sink or swim, I've had a go, haven't I? Do you know what I mean? And that's the main thing. That's the main thing in life. You've just got to have a go. And so
I think what was boss about, like, when you dropped the album, that as well, is that there was no, like, hate from blues or nothing like that. They were all made up for you. You had loads of blues saying how boss the album was and stuff like that, and it was just refreshing to see, because they could have just went, he does all the Liverpool songs, fuck him, but there was none of that.
Yeah, I got a little bit of it, but like literally one or two. A couple of them probably stayed silent over it, but like on majority, the response from Everton fans has been great. Like, even to the point now where I'll post something about Liverpool, and some of them who are me music fans will give me like a little bit of stick about the footy, but not take it not like a personal thing, you know, like where someone who's proper into me music as an Everton fan, and he'll say something about, oh, loved your tunes, this, that, the other, and he'll throw a little dig in about Everton at the end, you know what I mean? And that's boss, that's what it should be like, you know what I mean? Like, not at the end of the day, even in the songs that I sing at Boss Night, yeah, some of them might have stuff about Everton where we beat them and that, but it's not as if Everton fans don't have those songs about Liverpool. You know what I mean? I'm not singing it personally about them. You know what I mean? Which some people have took it. You know what I mean? It's not like that, even with the Boss Night stuff. We're just trying to have a good time. Just leave us to it. You know what I mean? I'm literally like, even though Everton might be in the words of some of the songs, you're literally in the boss nights. Do you know what I mean? You're literally the furthest thing from, in my mind at that moment in time. I'm thinking about Liverpool and being in a room full of Liverpool fans and just enjoying ourselves after a win or after a big game or before a big game. So I don't get it, mate. I think if Everton was like,
good.
if Everton were doing what we were doing and there was a young Scouser knocking about and making his name in both the music industry and, in the football sort of scene, like, it might piss me off if Everton won and we didn't, and I'd see them singing a song. I'd be like, "Ah, fucking hell, I'm not today." I wouldn't watch the videos. You know what I mean? I'm not, but like, and I wouldn't like, but I'd be like, what, fair play to the lad. He's, you know what I mean? He's enjoyed. Look at what he's doing. Like, some of the experiences I've had through doing that, it's I've had, like I say, the main one. I've had a bevy with Klopp in New York at like 2 a.m, just me and him, bevy and a bifter, and just like. Just chatting, you know what I mean? Talking about winning the Champions League, just like as if he was me mate, as I'm talking to you now, and it's just like, and I'm like, fucking hell, you'd never. I was that kid on the couch, you know what I mean, and in the stadium, looking at the manager, looking at the players, and I'm sat talking to him about a European Cup win. You know what I mean? I can remember winning the European Cup in Istanbul, and Rafa Benitez seemed like a movie star. You know what I mean? And like here I am with him. And I wouldn't have got here had I not done all this. You know what I mean? So
I'm going green here.
Yeah. Nah, but I wouldn't, you know what I mean? I wouldn't change any of it. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have changed the thing. Like, it's like without any of that Liverpool stuff. Some of them might say, "Oh, like his own tunes, but that fucking Liverpool stuff doesn't end and I can't buy into it." But I wouldn't be here without any of that Liverpool stuff. Do you know what I mean? It wouldn't have given me the platform that I have. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah. It's one of them. Do you know what I mean? But
do you realise how massive you are to like hundreds of thousands of Liverpool fans? Does that register with you? Like, when people say, I've said it myself, the way
I find it weird.
The way the Liverpool fans together, you've done that as well in your own way. Like, yeah, I think you massive part. I think the players have sat there and watched you on YouTube, and Klopp sat there and watched you on YouTube singing a la. They probably played that in the dressing room, and you've inspired them. And us to, like, even when we've been shit, and then you play gigs after we've lost, and we get back into it, and we're like, fucking, let's get behind the boys because you're singing songs, and then we go on and win all that. Do you realise how much of a fucking massive part you've been in our recent success from the club?
No, I honestly, like, I appreciate it when people say it. Like, you can't not, you know what I mean? But I just find it mad. You know, like, when people like come up here and they're like I've seen it, you know what I mean? People are fucking besotted with you, like, they're like on pins, they're nervous, like I've got pictures with full grown men, and I can feel them shaking. Do you know what I mean? Like, where they're like, and I'm like, what the fuck's up with you, lad? You know, obviously it's a nice thing, it's a lovely thing. I make them feel as welcome as anything, and like I try and play up to what they want me to be. Do you know what I mean? Like, so like, if oh, hello mate, you know, thank you very much, like blah blah blah, like, oh, what, you know, I can see the kids and that. And you're like, what? Who's your favourite player, lads? What's your favourite song? You know, who do you think? What's the score going to be today? I do that to fellas as well. Do you know what I mean? Because like, but like, I always try and give them like what they want. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
like when like they walk away, I'm like, do you know what I mean? I still find it mad. Do you know what I mean? Because probably because I've never like, I'm still in the same circles that I've always been in. Do you know what I mean? It's not like I'm not having lunch with P. Diddy or nothing like that. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? It's not like that. I'm not like, I've had that, like, that moment that I'm telling you about there with Klopp. That was a big moment for me. It's not like me every day. Do you know what I mean? So, like, I you know, like, me and my bird were talking the other day. We're going to get the bus and the train to Crosby Beach just because we want to do it. You know what I mean? For the day, going on a little adventure I'm going on a bus in years and shit like that. Like, that's what normal people do. Do you know what I mean? I'm not like, I'm not a fucking big, massive celebrity. Do you know what I mean? I am just, I like to think of myself as a normal lad. Do you know what I mean? And when I meet people, I try and put it across that way as much as possible, because I don't want, I'd hate it if people thought like, oh, he's unapproachable or anything like that. You know what I mean? Because I'm not. I might be busy, but I'm not unapproachable. Do you know what I mean? If I'm sharing my time with someone and I give them my time, do you know what I mean? Like, that's that's the least that anyone can do to anyone else as a good human being. Do you know what I mean? That's just standard. So I do find it mad when people are like a bit like shocked to see me or whatever. Not when the kids, do you know what I mean? Like the kids, do you know what I mean? Like I get it with the kids, like, you know what I mean? So, but like when
should have seen me before this podcast, lads.
But no, I know, but you haven't come across that way, lads. You know what I mean? Even if you're not being a bit of a fangirl on this, like you've held yourself together really well.
I love you, lad. I fucking love you. I do.
But no, honestly, I appreciate it. Like honestly, it's boss. Do you know what I mean? But I really sometimes, like, you know, when people, my bird, she laughs her head off because I don't know how to take the compliments. I don't know. I'm better at it now. But like for a long, only just, do you know what I mean? Like for a long time, people would come up and I just go beetroot in the face, do you know what I mean? And be like, oh, yeah, so, you know, and you just can't get your words out because you think, what the fuck's going on here? Like, but I sort of get it. I still find it mad, but I get it now, you know what I mean? And like, when people are like that, I've always been the same, but I just try my very best to make people feel welcome, make people feel like I have actually given them my time. I haven't just like, it's not just like a novelty fucking 2-minute photo or whatever, do you know what I mean? Like, unless unless I'm in a rush and I've genuinely got somewhere to go and I'm like, you know, and people are like, sometimes you finish a gig and you've literally packing away and you've got to move on to somewhere else or you've got to get to somewhere else, you've got something else. And I'm like, look, mate, I genuinely like have to go here. And, you know, people have had a few bevies and then they're carrying on talking to you and they're starting pulling you and stuff. Then it gets a little bit annoying and you're like, lad, do me a favour. I'm trying my very best to be nice to you, mate. You know what I mean? But like, I've got to go, whatever. That's where sometimes it gets annoying, but I'll always try my best to to accommodate anyone. You know what I mean? Like that's who I am. That's how I've been raised by my family. That's like how me and my bird have our house. You know what I mean? Like it's an open door house. Anyone, whatever. You know what I mean? It's definitely like I want to live my life as an open and welcoming person. Do you know what I mean? That's how. You know, there's nothing worse than a frosty reception from anyone, and there's nothing better than a warm reception from someone. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, that's like I'm glad that hopefully, you know, you think that I've been all right with you. Do you know what I mean? I hope that despite me, you know, me diva, you know, rockstar being half an hour late for the podcast, like, you know what I mean? But I hope you think that I've been all right with you. Do you know what I mean? Because, like I say, it's
been boss, lad.
I just love talking to people, me. You know what I mean? So.
Best compliments I can give you is you nearly killed me, Dad. I mean, my dad had pneumonia and he had deranged in his back and all that, and he got out of Aussie, and you were playing the Arfie. I think it was after the Roma game.
Yeah.
Sure, it was after Rome. I think at home.
Yeah.
I couldn't get tickets. I gave me ticket away because my dad wasn't well. And I was saying to my dad, come to the pub, come and have a bevy. He's like, no. I said, Jamie Webster will be in there. Fucking hell, mate, my dad was on the bar. He was gasping for air, and he's like, he couldn't breathe. He went, fucking get down off the bar. We had to get him in a taxi and get him home, lad. He was gasping for air, and I was like, fucking hell, you've killed me, Dad.
See, I'm just happy that like you've had a fucking good memory like that with him. You know what I mean? And like I've been able to get to be part of it. You know what I mean? Like that's even you go ball ended on this one. Like you know what I mean? Madrid, like. Looking into the crowd, like I was stood there, and like you can probably see it if you look at me singing in Madrid. At the end of it, you can hear me doing this laugh in between the lines, and I'm going like that. You know what I mean? And it's like I'm breathing, but it's not. I'm like fucking trying to not cry because all I can see in the crowd is just fucking like fathers and sons, fucking. Do you know what I mean? Granddads and grandsons. Fucking all three, sometimes generations arm in arm. Some of them are crying, some of them are made up happiest things you'll ever see. You know what I mean? And I was just stood there on the stage and I was like, fucking hell, this is like, it was just overwhelming, just to the whole everything, the part of everything. And I just walked off the stage, grabbed me missus, grabbed the curtain that was like, you know, sort of like on the, wrapped myself in it, burst out crying just because of the emotion of it, the overwhelming of the day. Do you know what I mean? But like, that's it for me. The memories that I've took from it are things that no one will ever be able to take away from me. And the memories that I've given to other people doing it, that I'm fortunate to be able to have done that. You know what I mean? Like it's great. You know what I mean? To think that like, you know, years down the line, whatever, with your kids, whatever, you know, you say me and your granddad, you know, we went to pub one day and there was a lad on there, Jamie Webster, you know what I mean? He played that when we beat Roman in the championship. Should have seen your granddad. He was on, so you know, all that stuff. Do you know what I mean? That like to think that somewhere in folklore, Scouse folklore, I'll be part of that. That's amazing for me. But it was never ever me intention. Do you know what I mean? It was just I just enjoyed doing what I was doing, and that's how I've got where I am, because it wasn't people could see that it was genuine. It wasn't just some fucking fake pop star trying to fucking make milk the fans for Liverpool Football Club. You know what I mean? Because there was a niche in a market there. Do you know what I mean? It was like
just genuine.
It was genuine. It was what it was, and people liked it. Do you know what I mean? And it's people still like it, and people probably it's probably has started a trend now where they will like now most pubs around the ground will have a singer on singing the footy tunes and that. You know what I mean? That's like it was always there in like here and there, but like it was never every part of everyone's match day routine to go and see someone with the guitar sing a tune, sing Liverpool songs on the guitar after the game. Like it wasn't normal, and now that's like you go to Sandon, you go to the Alberts, you go to Hotel Tia, you go to the Halfway House, you go to Hotel Anfield. You know what I mean? You go to some of the bars in town now, they have them on doing it. That's like, it's like, I think for the next 20 years, you're going to see kids, do you know what I mean, playing Liverpool tune. Most young kids who, like, I get some videos of playing, like, the Van Dijk song on the guitar, do you know what I mean? And LA, and shit like that. Like, it's mad, do you know what I mean? Because, like, it's a mad thing that happened. It was never ever an intended thing. It was just footy, innit? You know what I mean? And a bit of music, and something happened, and we took loads of like inspiration from it. It's transferred into the stadium. So like I don't know what happened. Like you say, I don't know what it was. I don't know what you could say it was, but it happened, didn't it? And here we are. Just got to keep enjoying it, haven't you, as fans? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so thanks very much, like for having me on and all that. I am gonna have to go now because I am going to my Mars for me dinner. But
there's Alice the question. I'll be back soon.
I'm sorry, please. But
that's the next time.
Don't worry about it. We get you on again.
Yeah, well, if you want, you can do. I don't know what you want to do for content and shit like that, but if you want, I'll. If you want to send me the questions, I've filmed myself doing them back. Do you know what I mean? Or I can just do. Or I can just
get you on again.
Or get me on again, yeah. Or I'll just record them. Do you know what I mean? And you can add them on if you want to add the audio clip on, and you want to say, we were going to ask Jamie a load of questions, but we didn't have time. If you want me to send, I can knock up an MP3 format or WAV, whatever you want, and just answer the questions for you, and you can add it on and have like a thingy. Do you know what I mean? Just let me know. It's up to yourselves.
Sounds. Up to you, Jay. You run all the shit, lad. I just speak to people.
Yeah.
Nah, you know what? We normally have these questions, like Jay says, but it's just been a real conversation. It's been the type of episode we've always wanted to try and bring people. So it's been fucking boss. It really has. It's been brilliant.
No worries at all, lads.
Can I just ask you before you go, Jamie?
Yeah.
Do you listen to your own songs? I've been down. Do you?
Very rarely. I listen to them when I write them, and then I demo them. So like I go in the studio with my band, and we record them ourselves. And like it's still quite a good quality, but it's not the finished. It's not like I haven't done it in a fucking £1,000 recording studio. I've done it on my laptop with a little box that, you know what I mean, that the instruments plug into. So I listen to the demos loads because I'm like, yeah, new tunes when it's new. So when I record this album, I'll listen to it non-stop for like 3 weeks. Like after it's all been mastered and it's back, I'll listen to it for 3 weeks non-stop. Like it'll be in my ears, and I'll be like, yeah, whatever, proper made up with it, buzzing with it before anyone else has heard it. Do you know what I mean? And then I won't listen to it then because I've hammered it for 3 weeks, and then like it's very rare. Only unless like I only got the past. You wouldn't believe it, right? I only just got my own vinyl of We Get By, and of the Live at Parr Street Studios vinyls. I only just got them like 3 days ago. My own ones off them. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously they were all going out, and I forgot to ask for them for like me friends and family and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And then there was problem with the shipping and all that. And I've eventually got them. You know what I mean? And so I listened to the live of Parr Street vinyl the other day for the first time, like since the day it come out. You know what I mean? I listened to it once. I was like, yeah, I remember that now. Sounds. You know what I mean? But like, I won't listen to it again. Probably. Like maybe like 6-7 months down the line, my bird might say, "Should we put your album on?" And I'll go, "Oh yeah, go on." I haven't listened to it in ages, but if I'm with people in a room and like someone puts me tunes on, I'd tell them to turn it off. Probably.
Would you?
Yeah.
I'd be sat there going, "Alexa, play me."
Not probably. I would. My mum does. My mum makes me. Well, not makes me. Like I go around to my ma's and she goes, "Alexa, play Jamie Webster." So she's buzzing. Do you know what I mean? So like, I listen to them with my mum and that. You know what I mean? But like, no, I don't think I've ever. I think my bird sometimes says, "Alexa, play Jamie Webster," and lay to wind me up. Sometimes, do you know what I mean? Like, so it's playing in the house, but like, I don't think we've ever said to the Alexa, play Jamie Webster. My bird's my biggest fan, but she has them all on her headphones and that. You know what I mean? And like she's like me though. As soon as I get a tune back, she hears it at the same time as me. Do you know what I mean? Or like, she's the first one to hear it. Everything. We live in the same house. I do all my writing in the house, so she hears them from when I'm singing the same line over and over and over and over again for about 3 hours because I'm trying to get the thing right on it or whatever. You know what I mean? So she hears all the outtakes as well. Do you know what I mean? So we never really think to say, "Oh no, put it on." You know what I mean? Once we get them back, once they've been recorded, but like, yeah, made up with it. And then it's only probably before a gig, I might listen to them just to decide like the running order of how I want the gig to go or whatever, you know, for my set list. But by and large, they're not on any of my playlists on Spotify or anything like that. Like, I wouldn't. Do you know what I mean? I just don't. It's very rare anyway. Once in like 6 or 7 months, I might throw the album on, and probably knowing my luck, someone will knock at my house, so I look like a fucking knobhead. Do you know what I mean? But no, like, nah, no, don't normally listen to me. Once I've lived with them, no, like once I first get them back, yeah, for 3 weeks straight, it's all it's in my ears. But then after that, like the thrill wears off, and I just start thinking about new tunes. Then. Do you know what I mean? So
Jay still goes back and watches all karaoke videos and everything.
Me singing a tune of a tattered dressed as a lion.
We've all been there, lad, with the karaoke. I think, Jesus Christ. I think I've done Eminem on the karaoke when I was a kid. But yeah. Oh well. But yeah, no, honestly, lads, thanks very much. And thanks very much for having me on. I proper enjoyed it. Hope like it goes well. If you like, I'll sort out a little the promo for it. Just message me on Instagram or whatever. And I'll share everything on that. He's on Twitter as well.
Yeah, on Twitter, on Instagram, and that's all. Once we get it out and that, I'll tag it in everything on it. So
yeah, just send me everything, and I'll share it and that. Yeah, but yeah, enjoyed it. Get outside and enjoy the sun for a bit. I think you know what I mean before it fucking goes. Yeah,
enjoy you. Just fucking snapped in half, so I'll be sitting in the shade thing, wounded.
Ah well, lads. Ah well. At least you're outside.
Oh, nice one, Jamie. Appreciate it, lads.
Yeah.
You've been an absolute fucking belter. And
yeah, it's been boss.
So we've had the sheet. I've been shitting myself wanting to ask you all questions. Shevchenko, Parkman, and all that. You've more or less covered most of it anyway. But speaking to you, feels like we're in the boozer, how it should be. So go and enjoy the sun in your roast, lad. Nice one.
No, thanks very much, fellas. Jay, see you later. All right.
Take it easy.
See you later, lad.
See you later.
See you later, mate.